can I say? Stuff just hit the fan. Wow. Guys, you are staring at one of the most substantial crossout patches of my time in this game. In this video, we're gonna do the overall look around what is gonna happen with the game. We're gonna take a look at all of the different things, and then we're gonna have a few videos that will break down each component of what we can actually expect. And then finally, we're gonna have a video that sums up where I think this will take us. Welcome to this video. It will be a total of, I guess, around 4 videos because there's a lot of stuff we have to go over. But I feel like we will just start with this video with an overall look of what, what is gonna happen, what do we know so far, what new stuff has been introduced. So yeah, let's just get started from the top. This is the test server that we are sitting on right now. And the following information has been released about this specific test server. And to those of you who are wondering, this patch is supposed to drop by end of January or beginning of February. No one 100% knows right now, but let's just have a look at, the stuff that we know right now. First of all, in the patch notes, a new weapon class and a new weapon rarity and a new rarity in general. And we can actually take a look at that if you go to factions technology tree, because you will notice it here, this turquoise color here with a lot of new stuff in it that you haven't really seen before. And I mean, just by looking at this, I'm excited already. So as you will notice, we have a few old weapons stacked in here, and we will see a couple of new weapons as well. Basically, what the specialty rarity is supposed to cover is the step between rare and epic. Now, I don't really see a need for this, to be quite honest. I don't really fully understand, the argument for why we need this. But basically, what the devs are saying about this is that, the step between rare and epic is quite big for new players. So this is supposed to be a in between where you can sort of get this rare with this weapon type, say for example that before the jump between a sledgehammer and a thunderbolt, which is a terrible example because both weapons are not very good, but these two weapons the gap between them were too big before. Now we have this in between. For example, we now have a mace shotgun. Let's take a look at the crafting recipe here. So this will basically be 50 scrap instead of 250, which an epic weapon costs, and then we have like 1 Spitfire, 1 sledgehammer compared to, whoops, that was not where we wanted to go. But if we go to the craft here, you will now need special weapons for this instead. And I'm guessing the price of boss sauce is gonna, wow, this is gonna affect the market in so many ways. This is quite interesting. This is very interesting indeed. Nevertheless, I think it's safe to assume that prices for most of these items are gonna fully explode. And we also have a new cannon. Stay on track here. We gotta stay on track here. This is absolutely mental. I don't even know where to start. Nevertheless, we have the new weapon rarity, and as I said, the argument for this is simply that they want, the gap between rare and epic to be less severe. My fear about this is the fact that now the junk bow, for example, will be expensive. So the Fafnir will probably also be more expensive unless they change the crafting recipe, which they actually also did, The overall crafting, because this is 50 and this is... So it's actually pretty much the same for this, but I'm curious to see how the prices develop of these special weapons. Nevertheless, I fear that, this is gonna bump up prices of legendary items even further compared to what it was before. It is something time will tell. It's hard to tell if it's gonna be like that already, but we will have to see how that develops. For the sake of it, let's just have a look at everything that will be in the special category. So we will have the Piercer, which was a rare before. We will have a new Sinus weapon. We will have Goblin, Junk Bow, Mace, also a new weapon. Then we have AC-50 Storm, new weapon. We have Hulk, we have Prosecutor, new weapons. The Synthesis, old weapon, Boomstick, the, what is it called, Boss Saw, a new Drone, and Sidekick has been moved down. A new Turret. And that's about it. If we look at the cabins here, you will see that the Steppenwolves, the Dawn's Children, and the Firestarter's cabin is now a special cabin, whereas it was a rare cabin before. In the parts here, as you can see, all engines, our generators, besides the Big G, are now also special. The radar detector, the Oculus, the cloak. So Not really seen much of a pattern, but some things have changed. Also, a few wheels here, as you can see, has also gone into a new category. That is also interesting why they just chose these. I would assume Luna, maybe because they have, you know, the shoot through perk, which you find on buggy items, for example, but not really sure why they chose this. Next up, and this is also quite interesting, and let's just give it a shot, because you will now be able to, if I understood this correctly, you will now be able to actually get more than one fusion on an item. Now, the way this works is if we upgrade this, as you can see here, health, mass, self-protection, suicide blast, suicide delay, engine power, tonnage, critical mass. There's a lot of perks we can get here now. And the thing is, if I take my hauler here and I upgrade my hauler, and I use 2 of these and I upgrade it, let's see what happens. Bam. So I guess that this was our old previous perk. Oh, and I can even select this. That's interesting. So we will now have increased tonnage. I'm hoping this is reduced mass. What is the mass of this one? 700. So I just made my cabin heavier. I don't know why I would ever want to do that. That is something we will have to look into further once these new fusion perks actually show up as proper thing. And then we have a suicide delay and a tonnage add. So tonnage add is increased tonnage. Yep. Suicide delay, I'm assuming, will be an increased delay by suicide, and the mass will be pretty self-explanatory, which I have no idea why they're doing. Increased mass of your weapon, yeah. So that doesn't really make much sense, but let's just leave it as it is. If we go and take a look, because I have a lot of Emilys here, so we can actually use those for, you know, upgrading as well. Let's take a look at what we can get here when we fuse a non-fused item. So we no longer get to choose between the old and the new one. Instead, we can choose, we get some mass here again, increased mass. That is very interesting. Blast damage. Oh, so maybe the mass is a permanent, you know, debuff because you fused it. That could be. Spread move max, spread stat max, mold description. So this might be accuracy while moving. This might be accuracy while static, which means not moving. So this might be reduced spread overall. And you know what? Let's just take a look at the, not the parameters, that's not what we want to look at, but we want to look at the upgrade here. So let's look for a grenade launcher, self-protection mass. Yeah, this looks a lot like rotary speed, spread decrease. I'm not sure what all of these are. We have blast damage, blast radius, and cooldown. One of my favorite weapons that I had the lucky opportunity to fuse was my mandrakes, which are now gone. They're simply not in here, which is also quite interesting. Where is my mandrakes? Did you take away my mandrakes, game? I think you actually did take away my mandrakes. You did indeed not take away my mandrakes because they're on my build. So mandrake, let's see, not possible to upgrade. Simply not possible. On the other hand, though, we now have a 14% explosion radius, which was 10% before. On the other hand, we also have reinforced. So let's see, parameters 14% as well instead of the old 10%. So the way that the new fusion here works, the new part upgrade, is if you upgrade a part, you will get 2 to 3 bonuses from the list that you see. All of these will be randomized like before. And as far as I understood, this will still work the way that it worked before. You know, you get randomized things, but you cannot get the same thing as you had before. So that is something that is pretty crucial, knowing that you can get now 2 to 3 perks from the list. I'm assuming that one perk will not be as strong as before. Otherwise, for example, Mandrake with both explosive and incendiary, that will be very strong. And also reinforced, that will literally be like a gold Mandrake. Then you hit the jackpot. Go buy a lottery ticket. That would be good for you. And no, it says here actually that some bonuses may repeat. And if you get a repeated upgrade of a part, you can make a choice, leave the previous bonuses or accept the new ones. Parts spent on upgrades will not be returned in any case. So a very drastic upgrade rework here as well. There's just so much stuff here, guys. We're not going to be able to cover all of this in the videos before the test server is out. But yeah, a pretty severe change to upgrades. I mean, let's just have a look at this again, you know, see what all of this is. Self-destruct damage plus 10%. That's very interesting. So you could like go ahead and make a full suicide cabin. I'm assuming that the tonnage add, yep, health. Will that give us just increased cabin health? I'm assuming. Oh yeah, durability, nice. So you can actually get extra durability on your cabin as well. That's going to be very good for hover builds, which probably will die, but more on that later. Suicide blast radius, yeah. All of those things, very, very interesting. Then we have cabin rework. And now, you know what, let me show you the cabin rework like this. Let me just put together, you know, one beast of a machine here. And then show you exactly what a cabin rework actually means. Let's get 6 Bigfoot wheels here. Simply because we can do that. There we go. And let's go over to the other side. A bit of a stutter lag here. Not really liking that. You know, and then for example, one would go ahead and grab an echo. And then once one person grabbed an echo, the person could go ahead and grab a mandrake, and then you would be like, no, wait, you cannot have 2 mandrakes in a heavy cabin. You still cannot if you don't put on an Apollo, but you sort of, you know, you're sort of seeing what I'm trying to achieve here. So if I go grab my mandrake again here now, you know, just stuff that onto there, bam, all of a sudden you will see a freaking echo with a dual mandrake, guys. It is really stuttering, first of all. It's new times when it comes to Crossout. I'm really sorry about the stutter lag. I hope we will survive, and I hope this will not be something that the patch is causing. Nevertheless, you are witnessing an echo with mandrakes right now, so let's go ahead and fire those and just, you know, look at that reload speed on a dual mandrake. On a freaking dual mandrake, it's finally happened. Simply what has happened is that now cabin energy is flat out only based on the rarity of the cabin. So say goodbye to your 11 energy growl. That will now be 10. Say hello to your 11 energy bat. Say hello to your 11 energy jawbreaker. You're 11 energy pilgrim. You're a 10 energy trucker. You're a 12 energy icebox. Yep. Bring back the icebox. Icebox, tsunami, typhoon, cannon with everything that you need. You know, go grab your Oculus, go grab your Doppler, go grab everything you need in order to make a nice hover, because you can fit all of it now. It goes like this: epic 12 energy, special 11 energy, rare 10, 11 energy, rare 10, common 9, base 8. So that is the way that things are spread out now. This is very different. This is very different. And we're gonna see a change in meta after this for sure, because people are gonna build way differently. And I'm fearing that Typhoon Icebox might be stronger, especially hovers. And then again, maybe not, because I still do not understand, you know, what they want to do with the hovers, but more on that later. We haven't gotten to that point yet. So, rework of blast damage effect on radars is the next patch note. Today we also offer you the opportunity to test the modified mechanics of interaction between explosive projectiles and radars. In many ways, it is similar to what is now used for explosive projectiles and decor. This means that radars no longer absorb damage from an explosion caused by a projectile hitting them. When it hits, the projectile deals some damage to the radar, flies through it, and the blast and the damage from the blast passes through the nearest parts to the radar, following the path of the projectile's flight. So this means that if this is my projectile and I have a radar and you get hit here and you maybe have a part here, then the bullet will search through and hit the part here. There has been some discussion whether or not this is actually working, so that if I actually hit, you know, here and it flew through, then nothing gets hit here and nothing happens. The explosion still just happens, which is why you see a lot of people running gas gun hovers, again with just their, what's it called, that thingy that they use, inflatable mammoths, which is a huge decor item that some people, you know, say might still be broken or whatever, or at least works against scorpions. So I'm guessing that this will mostly be a nerf to cannons once again, which also means that scorpions are gonna be, if this works the same way as Deco, scorpions are gonna be the full meta now, I fear. Or like pulsars and stuff, maybe, even though they will also be affected. But yeah, you get the memo. The explosion occurs either after contact with the structural part, or if there is no structural parts on the projectile's flight path, the last radar in the projectile's path. Yeah, So that is indeed how it works. Weapon perks are still triggered by contact with radars. That is, the very fact of hitting an armored vehicle counts. When, for example, only radar is in the path of a projectile and there are no other parts behind it. So you still get, you know, stuns if you hit a radar and nothing else. Exploding shells of the Phoenix crossbow still attached to the radar if they hit it. And the same radar is the epicenter of the explosion. So, yeah, only cannons are affected by this. Essentially, that's what they're trying to tell you. Which is probably a disappointment to most people. It is what it is, though. We are sure that many of you already know about the so-called side flyers. Here he is referring to a sideways hover, which most people use. Bam, this is sideways hover for you right there. Basically what is going to happen, and I will see if you guys will notice this for yourself. I'm just going to give you a few seconds to notice this. You will definitely notice because that thing is way overweight for whatever reason. I don't know. Let's just assemble it. What is wrong with you? Why are you so overweight? You shouldn't be overweight because I sold some hovers and there are no longer enough hovers on this thing. I'm just going to remove my cannons from this because we don't need them to show you guys what this is all about. Oh, wow. This is so much more terrible than I expected. Homie, you're not even overweight. Will you stop complaining? Or are they actually becoming that terrible? I really do not hope. Yeah. Rest in peace, my beautiful babies. You are by now, by definition, broke, dead. This cannot be true. This cannot be true. Look at this. Look at this. 33, 34. What happens if we go forwards? Or the actual forwards, which should... Nah, this is not a true. So let me just read out what happened here. We're sure that many of you already know about the so-called side flies. These are vehicles in which, due to non-standard assembly, mechanics of strafe and reassignment of control buttons, efficiency and protection are seriously increased. Statistics invariably confirm the superiority, wow, that's a hard word, of such armored vehicles over conventional lower vehicles, hover vehicles. I cannot speak today. I'm sorry about this, guys. We would like cars with hovers to be effective precisely in the classic assemblies. They want us to play regular hovers. So, armored car acceleration during strafing is reduced by 25% for both hovers. The flight altitude of cars with both type of hovers is reduced by 14%. Durability is reduced or increased by 30%. Hovers get more HP. They get punished on their movement speed. Something is up though, because, you know, I'm going straight forward now. This is not overweight, but look at my movement speed. Something is going on. Something is going on. Let's just let's do a regular sideways hover here that, you know, we've done so many times before. Basically what we're gonna go ahead and is plunk down that, and we're gonna plunk down that, and we're gonna put that. We're gonna put that. Then we're gonna grab 4 Icarus. Is there something about the number of hovers that they have not told us? I feel like they are, you know, they are bullcrapping me right now. They are bullcrapping us right now. So let's just... Bam. So this is still rather fast. But, yeah, I hope you noticed what, you know, I just said there. Do you see how low I am to the ground? You are barely even above. So, in case... You know, this is probably going to be the new way that we're going to see hovers. If we want our hovers to actually go over anything when we play our hovers. Oh, and this is the new chassis parts. Interesting. You see that? So this is a 1x6. And there will be... No, this is a 1x4. No, this is a 1x4. Yeah, it is a 1x4. It's not a 1x6. 1x8, 1x6, or 1x4. So the new way that you will probably see hovers now, if we are going to have any chance against melees, will be something along the lines of this. Oh my god, you get punished. There is something up with the engine drain on these. It's still minus 5%, but you really just lose all speed when you put on multiple hovers. So I think we're gonna have to see, like, go back to 4 or 6 hovers again. Because something is up when you put on more that they have not said in the patch notes for sure. But yeah, the only way to get over your enemy now is like this, which will probably work somewhat efficiently, but it's also really incredibly stable compared to the fact that we have 4 hovers in the front and the just 2 in the back, but it's like completely leveled. So something is definitely up, I feel like. We're probably gonna have to look into that further. Once I ask the devs what they meant about that, I will try to message them and see if I can get any replies from it and get you guys some information. Don't expect it though. And that's pretty much it what we have in the patch notes. So there is a lot of stuff coming, guys. I hope that you can see this. Now, I think we're gonna, I think we're just gonna call it a short video here. Wow, these builds are so slow. Yeah, no, it states nothing about, you know, decreased energy drain or anything, but right now we are moving sideways, so our acceleration should be completely normal, but it is definitely not. And this build is not overweight either, as you can clearly see. So yeah, we're gonna have to look into that. Nonetheless, this is an overall overview. Please keep an eye out for the upcoming videos. There will be a total of 4, and they will come out on a streak as soon as I get them ready for you guys. So do enjoy this video, do stay updated, don't forget to subscribe so you can see all of them. Until next time, have a good one, bye bye.